Hello and welcome back. Now let's start the journey of pattern programming. It will be in one shot. Before you get into this video, you may have to watch some fundamentals videos on operators, especially increment, decrement operator, relational operator, logical operator. Also do watch if else conditionals video. Now in this video, we will start the journey from the need of loop. Why do we have to use loop? For loop, what is the syntax of for loop? Then we will get into the concept of nesting of the loops. Then using the concept of operators, conditionals and the loops, we will be developing the logic to draw any complex pattern. This will be the most simplified approach, and if you know some fundamentals before you get into the concept of loops, then definitely at the end of this video you will be in a position to draw any complex pattern without any worry. Also, one update: please do connect our WhatsApp channel for the regular updates. The link you can find in the comment section. Also, you can find in the community post, wherein we will be posting all the videos which we are updating into this channel. Also, do follow me on my Instagram and LinkedIn. For LinkedIn, you can just search HyderAbbas. You'll be getting my profile. And for the Instagram, please do follow the ID which you can see on your screen, and also you can find the link in the comment section. Having said that, let's start the journey of pattern programming from loops. Please make sure to watch the concept of operators and conditionals before getting into this video. Hello and welcome back. In programming, repeating the task is very common activity. Very often at given point of time, you may have to repeat the same task again and again. It could be anything. It could be writing some piece of statement, or it could be invoking some functions, or you can say calling some method or printing something. Doesn't matter. At given point of time, at one place, same activity, if you want to repeat again and again. For an instance, the requirement here is, I want to print 5 stars one below the other. What is the big deal? I can say system.out.println within the double quotes. I'll ask, please print star. I am printing 1 star here. The requirement here is, I want to print 5 stars, one below the other. Fine. So what is the big deal in this? I'll be writing the code. I will just repeat this. I will reuse the code, whatever I have written here, for 5 times. 5 times stars will be printed one below the other. Let me just run this here. If you see, 5 stars are getting printed. Not just 5 stars. Maybe I want some statement which I want to execute again and again. It could be printing 5 stars, or maybe I will just write my favorite quote here. I will say, focus is the key. If you want to learn anything, if you are focused, then it is very easy to learn. So let me just, I want to print this 5 times at given point of time. At same point, at same time, I want to repeat the exact same activity for 5 times. It could be 10 times. It could be 100 times. Let me just do it for 4 times here. You can see here, 4 times I'm printing it. And if I just run this, you can see 4 times I am writing here. Fine. Now, whenever you have a repeated task which you may have to do again and again at given point of time, instead of you repeating that statements again and again, you rewriting that same code again and again, you can write that once and make your program automatically do it for you how much ever time you want. For an instance, I want focus is the key to be printed for 100 times. I will not be writing that 100 times. I will write only once. And I'll make my program repeat for me for 100 times, for 1000 times, 2000 times, 10 times, doesn't matter. I will be doing that activity once, which I want to repeat at this point only. Then instead of you writing that multiple times, write it once and make your program to repeat for you how much ever time you want. That's where the concept of loops comes into picture in any programming language, not just in Java. When it comes to Java, we have a for loop. We have for loop, we have while loop, and also we have do while loop. Okay, do while loop, and we do also have for each loop, or you can say enhanced for loop, advanced for loop. Now we will explore for loop, while loop, do while loop, what is the syntax, and when we may have to go with what. And once we get into the concept of arrays collection, we will try to explore for each loop. For now, we will start the journey with for loop, Then we will explore while loop and do while loop. Fine. So whenever you want to iterate or you want to repeat certain task for a finite number of times, easily you can go with the for loop. And maybe you want to repeat certain task for infinite number of times, maybe you don't know, as long as there is a data in the database, I want to fetch all of them, keep fetching the records, then easily you can go with the while loop. So there are some differences, but all of them, the purpose is same. What they know, the difference is with respect to syntax, and when we have to use what, we will try to explore. Also, we are going to start the journey of pattern programming, so that you can start the journey of logical thinking, wherein you may have to use the concept of loops, operators, conditions extensively. Having said that, let's start the journey of loops. Hello and welcome back. In this video, we will start the journey of loops. To start with, first we will explore for loop. When it comes to for loop, we have three things which you need to know. Number one, we have initialization, then we have to write the condition check, and then there is a update. So let me just write down here. And the basic syntax is very simple. You may have to start with for, and all these three things you may have to write within this. First, you may have to write the initialization here. You have to start from where you want to begin. Then you have to write your condition. That means how many times you want to repeat this activity, right? And then there is a update. How it works, we will explore to it. Now, whatever you want to repeat, that is considered as the body of the loop. You may have to write within the curly bracket. Basically, what happens here is first initialization will be executed. Based on this, the condition will be checked. If this condition is resulting in true, then the body of the loop will be executed. After the body of the loop, everything is executed, then the update comes into picture. After the update, again the condition will be checked. If it is true, then the body of the loop. Whatever condition which you are going to put here, if it is resulting in true, only then whatever you write inside the loop, that will be executed. Starting only. If this condition is resulting in false, then whatever code you write within this body of the loop, that will not be executed. For an instance, I want to print star for 5 times on my screen. So I'll be writing that activity only once, and I will make my program to repeat for me. I will make my loop to repeat for me, right? So I'll say here system.out.println. I will say here print this star. I'm writing only once, right? I want this to be repeated for 5 times, 10 times, based on how much ever time you want. It could be anything else also, not just printing the star. It could be invoking the functions, invoking the methods also. Now I'll be keeping this within the body of the loop, because this is the activity I want to repeat for multiple times, which I'll be writing only once. And the syntax is very simple. I will say here for integer type of maybe I equals to 0. Usually in loops, it is a convention that we write variables I, j, k. It could be anything. You can give your own name here. That should not be a matter of concern. This is just a variable name. You can give some other variable name also. You can say start, no problem. Fine. After which I'll say I should be, maybe I'll say less than 5. And I'll say I plus plus. Fine. So as I have told you, the first thing to get executed here is the initialization. I will say here the first thing. What are you doing here? To a variable I, you are initializing value 0. So inside I have 0 here. Number 2, condition will be checked. I am checking here, is I less than 5? Inside the I have a value 0. Is 0 less than 5? Is 0 less than 5? Of course, yes. So this expression, this condition is resulting in true. If it is true, if it is satisfying, then whatever you write inside the loop, the body of the loop will be executed. Control will go inside this to execute whatever code you have written here. So on what are you repeating here? System.out.println, I want to print star. So on your monitor screen, you will be getting one star printed. Again, after this, update whatever you write here, that code will be executed. Number 4. And what are you doing here? I plus plus. In the incrementation and decrementation operator, we have seen I plus plus means existing value of this variable will be incremented by 1. That means if it is 0, that will become 1. Fine. If it is 1, it will become 2. After which again the condition will be checked. Is I less than 5? Is I less than 5? Current value of I is 1. Is 1 less than 5, the condition is true. Again, control will come inside the loop. One more time, the star is printing. Again, update. It will become 2. Again, you're checking, is I value less than 5? That means is 2 less than 5? The condition is true again. Again, the body of the loop, whatever code you write here, that will be executed. Again, increment it to 3. Is 3 less than 5? Again, after update, the body, this part will be repeatedly happening. Fine. Now again, one more star will be printed. Again, it will become 4. Is 4 less than 5? Yes. Again, one more star will be printed. Fine. Again, it will become 5. Now again, the condition is checking. Is 5 less than 5? 5 is not less than 5. This is resulting in false. If it is resulting in false, control will come out of the loop. As long as this condition is satisfying, that many times, whatever you write within the loop, that will be executed. The moment this condition will result in false, control will come out of the loop. Whatever repetition you have asked for, that repetition will stop, and whatever again after the loop, if you have written some code, that will be executed. Fine. I hope you could able to understand the control flow here. Let's write the code in the IDE and try to understand this. As you can see here, I have written the same loop here. I'm starting with the 0. Then I'm checking as long as I value is less than 5. Please repeat this activity. Fine. So if I have to just run this, you can see 5 stars on your screen. And maybe I want 10 stars. I will just make it to 10 times. That means I want, starting from 0, I want this to be repeated for 10 times. Since I'm starting from 0, I'm telling less than 10. 0 to 9 is equal to 10. If you start your loop from 1, then it should be I less than or equal to 10. 1 to 10. Since I'm starting the loop from the 0 and I'm giving less than 10, so that 0 to 9, it will be executed. If I have to run this, you can see, you will see the stars for 10 times. Fine. Now you can also do one thing. You can declare the loop, whatever I variable is there, outside the loop, so that it is not local to only for loop. You can do like this also. Integer type of I. Fine. And then you can just initialize the I here, and I less than. Instead of you giving the value, you can specify inside the n. Integer type of n equals to 5. And you can say here n. Both of them are same. Because anyway, inside the n, we have 5. If I say I less than n, example, current value of I is 4. 4 less than the value of n. Inside the n variable, we have 5. So 4 less than 5. We are storing that within a variable and then we are using it. Nothing, complex here. Fine. I hope you could able to understand the fundamentals of loop. This for loop we are going to use extensively. We will use nesting of the loops and so many things in our pattern programming journey. To start with, what is loop and basic syntax of for loop, if you have understood, it is more than sufficient. Fine. So thank you so much for joining me in this video. If you have any issue, you can rewatch this video any number of times. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe the channel, also share with your peers and friends. Hello and welcome back. In this video, we will start the journey of pattern programming. In the process, you will understand more on loops, how to write loops inside loop, which is nested loop. Also, whatever fundamental concept you have learned, operators, conditional, which is if, else, and loops, you will have good hold on that. You will be having the ability to think and write a logic to draw any complex pattern. I'll be teaching you such a logic wherein operators, conditionals and loops are used extensively, so that in the process you can also have good practice of all the fundamentals which you have learned so far. Before I get into this, first there is a small topic which I would like to highlight here, which is system.out.println and print. You know very well, if you want to print anything on your console using Java programming language, you may have to use system.out.println. That is the often. We also have an option to use print also. Now we need to understand first what is the difference between println and print. Let me open the IDE directly here. So if you want to print something, of course, based on the IDE you are using, there are a lot of shortcuts. But the statement which we may have to write here is system.out.println. Within the double quotes, I will say print 1 star. Whatever it could be, not just star, it could be anything. Fine. Println means whatever you're printing, that will be printed and you're asking cursor to move to the next line. That means after printing this, if you do something else, some other activity, printing activity, that will happen in a new line. Example, I will say system.out.print. Again, I would like to print star here. Now again, let me just print one more statement, system.out.println, again star here. Now in order to print star on your console, I am using print ln. ln means print this. After this, whatever next printing will happen, that should happen in the next line, not on the same line. If I have to run this, we can see stars will be printed one below the other. In place of print ln, if you go with print means print this star, and the next activity of printing should happen in the same line. That means after printing this on the console, this cursor should not move to the next line. It has to be in the same line. It will print one star. After printing the star, cursor will be in the same line. That means the next printing, whatever you do on your console, that will happen on the same line. Now for all this, I have used print, not the ln. That means print this star, be on the same line. Don't go to next line. ln means print this, go to the next line. Print means we have not used print ln here, only print. Print this star, be on the same line. That means next printing activity will happen on the same line. If I have to run this, you can notice print. Maybe after printing 3 star, I want the other things to happen on the next line. In the last line, I will say here print ln. You can see here, I have told print here, print this star, be on the same line. The next printing will happen on the same line. Again, I have told print this star, be on the same line. One more star printed. And again, I'm telling print this star, but you have told ln. After printing the star, go to the next line. So 3 stars will be printed in the same line and cursor will move to the next line. Please see here. I'm printing 3 star will be on the same line. But after this, whatever next activity you will do, it could be anything. Maybe I'll say here hi. Any printing, doesn't matter. This will be printed on the next line. Because while printing this star, I have told print this, but go to the next line after printing. Fine. Here I have told print this, be on the same line. Print this, be on the same line. 2 star printed, the 3rd star also in the same line. The cursor is still in the same line. 3rd star printed. While printing the 3rd star on the same line, you have told please go to the next line after printing this. So the next printing activity will happen on the next line. If I have to just run this program, you can see here, it is printed on the same line, but the next activity happened on the next line. So basically, print method will print whatever you're doing, whatever task you have given here on your console, and the next printing will happen on the same line. If you go with print method, print ln, it will print, and the next printing activity on your console will happen on the next line. That means print this, go to the next line. I hope these fundamentals you could able to understand. Now it's time to move to the nesting of loops, more on the pattern programming. Okay. The requirement here is very simple. I want to print 5 stars or maybe 4 stars. Doesn't matter how much you want. Let's go with the 5 on the same line. Great. Now all of them are in the same line. So should I go with system.out.println or print? Your answer must be print method, because after printing the star, I should stay in the same line to print the other stars. Fine. And also, should I write multiple system.out.print here, or we should write only once? Using the loop, we should make our program to repeat for us how much ever time we want. Fine. So I want to print 5 stars. I will write the statement system.out.print method I will use. Of course, it has to be full. I'm writing shortcut, but I hope you can understand that. Print. And within the double quote, I will print 1 star. Great. But this printing the star, print I have used here on same line should happen for 5 times, not once. You will not be writing multiple times. In the loops, we have already understood that we should write this once and make our program to repeat for us. In that case, whatever activity you want to repeat, that you have to keep within the body of the loop. Okay, this activity I want to repeat for 5 times. Now I would like to go with the for loop, which you are already aware of. I will say here, int is a type of maybe I. Please start from the 0. Go up to 5. Less than 5 means up to 4. 0 to 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Totally 5 times I want. I plus plus. One by one, please increment the value of I. If it is 0, make it 1 and check the condition. If it is 1, make it 2, check the condition. Fine. So now let's analyze this. I will start from here. Of course, the I value is 0 initially. We have understood this in our for loop class. One more time before I get into the nesting of loops, I'm discussing this. Again, the second part is I less than 5. That means what is the current value of I is 0. Less than 5, it is true. If it is resulting in true, whatever body of the loop you have written, that will be executed. So on your console, 1 star will be printed. Since you have told print, after printing the star, cursor will not go to the next line. Cursor will be on the same line. Again, fourth part, update will happen. After body, update. I plus plus, current value of I is 0. 0 will become 1. It will increment the existing value of a variable by 1. So 0 became 1. Again, the condition is checked. Is I less than 1? The current value of I is 1. Is I, that is 1, less than 5? Less than 5. Now this condition is true. 1 is currently, of course, less than 5. So again, the body of the loop will be executed. Inside the body of the loop, what are you doing? You're printing 1 star. Since you have used print while printing, the cursor will remain on the same line. That means next printing also will happen on the same line. Similarly, I value will be incremented to 2. Again, 2 less than 5. One more star will be printed. Again, I value incremented to 3. 3 less than 5. One more star will be printed because this is also true. I value is incremented to 4 by following the similar pattern which we have discussed now in the for loop video also. Fine. I 4 less than 5. So of course, one more star is printed. After which I value became 5 by incrementing. This process will follow. Fine. And 5 less than 5. No. Condition fails. Control will come out of the loop. After the loop, by chance, if there is any activity which you want to do on the next line, after printing 5 stars, after completing this loop, I will say here system.out.println. That means next printing activity I want in the next line. So cursor will go from here to the next line. So basically this loop we have already understood, right? When we have discussed the concept of for loop. Now what we are trying to achieve here, please see very carefully. Now the requirement here is I want to print 5 stars, one below the other. What do you mean by that? This is my goal which I want to achieve. As you can see on your screen, this is what I want to achieve right now. All of you know how to print 5 stars in one line. Fine. For which we may have to write one loop. I will say system.out.please print 5 stars, great, in single line. So this activity I want to repeat. Print I have used here 5 stars on the same line. So I will keep this entire activity within the loop. I will say here for integer type of, you can give any name to I, j, k, start and whatever variable name you want you can give. I will give here j equals to 0. I will say here j less than 5, j plus plus. Based on whatever we have discussed, this entire loop will print 5 stars in one line. And this activity I want to repeat for 5 more times, because same thing I want to do for 5 more times. You can see here 4 more times, totally 5 times. This is one time. Whatever code you can see on your screen, this will print 5 stars on same line. Fine. So same thing I want to happen for 4 more times, totally 5 times. Let's write the code in the IDE. As you can see, I have written the code. Maybe whatever variable name you want, you can give it. So that should not be a matter of concern. So let me just make it j for this. Okay, j. So j less than n and j plus plus. N means whatever value you have assigned here. I'm using print ln here. It has to be print. That means it will print 5 stars on the same line, which you can notice here. 5 stars on the same line. After printing 5 stars, I want the cursor to go to the next line. All right, great. It will go. Now printing 5 stars on the same line, I want to do it for 4 more times. So I will keep it for 4 more times. You can see here 3 times, 4 times, totally 5 times. So if I have to run this, you can see I am getting this agenda. Now whenever you have a same activity which is repeating again and again, what comes into picture? Loops comes into picture. So instead of we manually writing this again and again, this entire activity which I want to repeat for 4 more times, totally 5 times, can I keep it within one more loop? Answer is yes. So this entire activity I want to repeat. So I will just say here, maybe I have already defined I equals to 0. I will say I less than n, I plus plus. That means whatever this entire activity is there, I want this entire activity to happen for 5 times. So all of you know, this will print whatever you can see on your screen. This will print 5 stars on the same line, and get, after printing 5 stars, get the cursor in the next line. This activity of printing 5 stars on the same line, after printing the cursor should come to the next line. This entire activity I want to repeat again and again. So this entire activity I have kept inside one more loop. Loop inside loop is called as nesting of loops. So same thing, let me just explain how this will be executed. Now this activity I want to repeat, right? So same activity I will be writing for 4 more times, totally 5 times. So this activity, after printing 5 stars, I want the cursor to be in the next line. So print ln. This activity I want to repeat. So I'll keep it within one more loop. I will say here for integer type of I equals to 0, I less than maybe 5, I plus plus, I plus plus. So of course, loop execution will start from here. Number 1, I equal to 0. So inside I, 0 will be assigned. Great. I'm checking the condition. Is I less than 5? Inside I, we have 0. Is 0 less than 5? The answer is right. It will go inside the loop. Third part is loop, right? Now it is encountering one more loop here immediately. Then that loop execution will start. What are you telling here? J equals to 0. That means inside J we have 0. Again, the condition is J less than 5. That means inside the J we have 0. Is 0 less than 5? So this is true. Again, the body of the loop. In the body of the loop, you are printing 1 star. After printing the star, J plus plus, J value will be 1. And after printing the J value, again this condition is checked. 1 more star is printed. Again, J value incremented to 2. Is 2 less than 5? True. 1 more star is printed. So like the way we have already discussed this for 3 times, this entire loop will print 5 stars in one line. At one position, this condition will result in false. The moment this condition is resulting in false, by incrementing the J value to 5, finally it will check is 5 less than 5, it will be false. The moment it is false, control will come out of this loop. The moment control is coming out of the loop, you are telling system.out.println. That means after this is over, go to the next line. Cursor is waiting here. Again, the outer loop value will be incremented, which is I plus plus. I will become 1. Is 1 less than 5? The condition is true. Then again, whatever code you have written inside the inner loop, that will be executed. That means one more row of 5 stars will be printed. At one position, inner loop condition will result in false, for which control will come out of this inner loop. It will come out of this inner loop. System.out.println. Again, it will print. No, I mean to say cursor will come into the next line. Again, outer loop incrementation will happen. It will become 2. Now, is 2 less than 5? Yes, condition is true. Again, the inner loop will execute for one more entire loop. I hope you are able to now understand how this is working, especially if you have watched whatever we have already discussed in the for loop video and this video from the scratch. I don't think so any issues you have. You can take down the pen and paper and also would like to analyze. I want you to analyze how this is working the way I have explained. Fine. So this is what whenever you want to repeat some activity, we write the loop. And this entire activity only I want to repeat. Keep this entire activity inside one more loop. The nesting of loops comes into picture. Loop inside loop. Now how this is executing, I hope you could able to understand. If there is any ambiguity, you can rewatch this entire video also. Same code I have written in the IDE also. You can see here. If I have to run this, you can see 5 stars we're getting. One below the other also, one beside the other also. So this activity will print 5 stars. After printing 5 star, cursor will be in the next line. And this entire activity I want to repeat for 5 more times. I have kept it inside one more loop. As simple as that. Fine. So that's all for nesting of loops, but we have just started the journey of pattern programming. Upcoming videos will be based on the pattern programming. We are going to explore so many examples. I'm pretty sure all of you will be very much confident in a way that any pattern in front of you, you can give the solution. In fact, if the interviewer asks you, could you show your pattern programming skills, logical thinking skills by drawing my face as a pattern? You can definitely do that also. Such logic I am going to teach, where operators, loops, and the conditions will be used extensively. If they are using extensively, that means you will have good hands-on practice also on these fundamentals concepts. So we will be learning the pattern programming also. In the process, we will have better hands-on experience on the fundamentals of Java. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. Please do like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and colleagues. We'll meet again in the upcoming videos with pattern programming. Hello and welcome back. Now let's start the journey of pattern programming. In fact, we have unofficially started the journey of pattern programming, the concept of loops and nested loop. We try to understand loops and how nesting of loop works by drawing certain patterns. We need to understand more here. Whatever logic I'm going to teach for this pattern programming, I'm going to use the concept of operators, relational operators, the logical operators, if-else, conditionals, and loops extensively. So before you get into this video, make sure you watch all these fundamental videos which are there in this channel so that you can comfortably understand what we are discussing here. Fine. So as you all know, which we have seen in the last video, this logic, whatever is there in front of you, this will print 5 stars on the same line, right? In one row. That means 5 columns. It will print 5 stars in the same row. Same thing I wanted for 5 more times. So this entire activity of printing 5 stars, getting the cursor to the next line, printing 5 stars, getting the cursor to the next line. This activity I wanted to print, the entire activity I have kept inside one more loop because this activity I wanted to repeat at given point of time. So I have kept it within one more loop and we try to understand how this loop is working. Fine. So you can see if I just run this, it is printing 5 stars everywhere. Fine. Now if you want, you can give one space here so that in looks wise, it will just look little better. If I just have to run here, you can see star followed by the space. It is just looking better. Now the agenda here is I want to develop a logic which will print these stars. Now you can see compared to whatever we have already developed, which is printing stars everywhere, here there are no stars everywhere. There are stars only at the specific places and in some places there is a space. Consider whatever you can see here, all these rows are the part of outer loop. Outer loop means I am referring to I. So consider these are the I values, which is outer loop. This is I0, I equal to 1, I equal to 2, 3, 4. And whatever you can see here, all these columns, consider they are the part of inner loop J. As you all know, J loop will print this all columns, all the stars in one row. That means these columns, these stars, the value considered as the J value, inner loop value. So here the value of J is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Fine. Now, if you write the same logic, what we have already written earlier, it will print stars everywhere. I know want stars everywhere here. In some places, I want star. In some places, I want space. Fine. Now, for which directly if you write the loop, it will not work out. You may have to put some condition. If certain condition is satisfying, I want to print the stars. If it is not satisfying, I want to go and print the spaces. Fine. So wherever I value is equal to 0, wherever I value is 0, I need stars. Or wherever J value is equal to 0, all this you can see, whenever J value is equal to 0, I need stars. Whenever I values is equal to 0, I need stars. Or whenever I value is equal to 4, based on the values which I have given here, I need stars. This is the value of I. All these are the value of I. All these are the values of j. Or whenever j value is equal to 4, when the j value is, these are all the j values, right? When it is equal to 4, I need star. Rest of all the places, I need space. So I'll put one condition. If in case I value is 0 or j value is 0, or I value is 4 or j value is 4, I want to go and print star. I will say system dot out dot please do print one star here. Fine. Else remaining all the places, I will say system dot out dot print. It is not print ln. It is print method. You already know the difference between print and print ln method. I need space. Space means you need not write anything. Just give one space in between. Nothing more than that space. Fine. So this everything I will be keeping within my j loop. Earlier I used to print my stars directly in the j loop. Inside the j loop, now I am putting the condition. If in case these values are satisfying, I need to print star. If these values are not satisfying, I need to print the spaces. Fine. So let me complete this loop here. As you can see, I have written the j loop here. Once the j loop is done, I will say system dot out dot print ln, like the way we have already discussed. Then I will write my I loop for integer type of I equals to 0. I should be less than 5 because I want to go up to 4, and I plus. Fine. So same program only, instead of directly printing the stars, I am just putting some condition. If it is satisfying, go and print the stars. If this condition is not satisfying, please print the space here. What is this OR operator? How it works we have already seen, and also we have discussed the concept of the conditionals also. Fine. So let me just open the IDE here. Same program. I don't want to print star everywhere. I'm just putting some condition. This is fine. If you just execute this program, it will print stars everywhere, right? All the rows, all the columns, it will print the star. I'm putting the condition. Some places I need star, and I'll say some places system dot out dot print ln. Of course, it is print, not the ln. It is in the same line. I'll go and give 2 spaces here. Why? Because here after star I do have spaces. It will just print good. So 2 spaces. If it is 1 star without space, just give 1 space in between. So some places I need star. Some places I need space. Everywhere I don't want star. So I will be putting some condition. If in case, if this condition is satisfying, please go and print the star. Go and print the star. Else, if it is not satisfying, please do print this space. Whatever space you have, given here, I want you to print this space. Fine. Great. Now I'll be putting the condition. What is the condition? If you just look at the pattern which is there here, whenever I value is 0, whenever I value is 4, I need star. Whenever j value is 0, whenever j value is 4, I need star. Rest of all the places I want to print spaces. So I'll go here and put the condition. Whenever I value is equal to 0, or whenever j value is equal to 0, or of course, let me just write here, or whenever I value is equal to 4, whenever j value is equal to 4, I need star. Let me just make the value of n is 5. N is 5 means it's fine. 4 we can give. It will print the right pattern. I will make it dynamic also, generic also. Let's do that first. Let me just run this application here. You can see we are getting the pattern as per the plan. Whatever we had planned, the same pattern we could able to print here. Fine. Now instead of me giving the 4 here, what is the value of n? N value is 5. And how do we get 4 if the n value is 5? That means inside the n we have 5. If we want to get the 4, if I write here n, if I write here n, if I write here, that means it is 5. I want to print less than 5. Less than 5. 0 to 4. 5 patterns, 5 stars if you want to print. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That means it should be less than 5. Because we are starting the loop from the 0. So if I write n here, it will go for 5. And the loop is not looping for 5 times. It is looping for less than 5. It is looping, the maximum is 4 here. Less than 5 means till up to 4 only, and we cannot write here n. So I will say here n minus 1, and here also I will write n minus 1. What is the value of n? The value of n right now is 5. 5 minus 1 is how much? 4. 5 minus 1 is how much? 4. You writing the 4 here, it is same, right? 4 I am writing, or you can write n. The value of current n is 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. Both of them are same. Fine. So now if I just run this program, you can see here we are getting the same stars without any problem here. This is basic math. I hope you can able to understand here. So consider starting value 0. If the value of n is 5, the last value is always n minus 1, which is 5 minus 1. 5 minus 1 is 4. I hope you could able to draw the logic here. Fine. Now suppose I want to achieve, let's try to write more patterns so that we can understand this better. The next pattern, which the agenda here is, let me draw the pattern here for which we may have to develop the logic. Now let's develop the logic for the given pattern which is there in front of us. Fine. Now same logic, the loops will be, you may have to write the loops. It will be same. I'll be focusing only on whatever we write inside the if block. Fine. The remaining logic will remain same. I will be just writing, let's focus on writing this logic which we may have to write inside the if condition. If the condition is satisfying, we want to print the stars. If the condition is not satisfying, we may have to print the spaces. So let's focus only on what we may have to write inside the if block. In the nesting of the loops, in this particular video, we have understood how we have to write the full program. Now let's focus on the logic which we may have to build in order to get this pattern. Fine. So whenever I value is equal to 0, I value is equal to 0, I want to print the stars. See here, whenever I value is 0, I want to print the stars. Great. Whenever j value is equal to 0, when j value is 0, I want to print the stars. Fine. Or whenever j value is equal to 4, you can also go with n minus 1. Fine. N minus 1. If the value of n is 5, it is 4. N means, of course, n minus 1. That is, current value of n is 5. 5 minus 1 is how much? 4. You writing the 4 or you writing the n minus 1, both of them are same. If you write n minus 1, it could be generic. You can just change the value of n. The same pattern will print. Maybe you can give value of n is 10. Then it is 10 minus 1 is 9. The last value it will print. The last whatever column is there, for that column it will print the stars here. Better to go with the value of n. Fine. So if you write j equal to n minus 1, that means the last column, that's the last value is always n minus 1. The last value is always n minus 1. You can consider that. Fine. This is fine. Now I know one stars here. When the value is n minus 1, I value is n minus 1. The last, I know one stars everywhere here. I want star in the middle. Fine. So if this is n minus 1, if n minus 1 is 4, n minus 1 by 2, that means n minus 1 is 4, 4 by 2 is 2. Exactly at second place we can get it. We can say I equal to 2, I need star. We can say that, there is no problem. Instead of we seeing 2, we can also say n minus 1 by 2. What is the n? N value is 5. 5 minus 1 by 2. That means 4 by 2. 4 by 2 is how much? 2 only. So you writing n minus 1 by 2 or you directly writing 2, there is no problem. If you write directly 2, if in case if you want to increase the size of the pattern, you may have to make changes here also always. So in order to make it generic, if we change the size of the pattern, n value if we change, we want to change this pattern, then go with the generic n. So you write directly 2 or n minus 1 by 2. That means exactly half. If this is n minus 1 by, if this is n minus 1, n minus 1 by 2, half of this is middle, right? So I will go with n minus 1 by 2. So we will be able to get this pattern. Let's go to the IDE and try to get solution for this. And we have already seen this. Let me just comment this part. So I would like to just write the same thing here. And let me write the logic for the pattern which we have got it. Whenever I value is equal to 0, I need star. J value is 0, we need star. And whenever j value is equal to n minus 1, the last column, we need star. And whenever I value is last column, the last row, we no need stars. half of that we need star. So whenever I value is equal to n minus 1, the last value divided by 2, that means half. If the last row is n minus 1, half of that is n minus 1 by 2. I hope that basic maths everyone knows exactly at half. And if I have to just run this program, you can see on your screen, as per the plan, we are able to get this. Let's draw 2 or 3 more basic patterns and then we will go for the advanced so that you are getting comfortable for this. So now the agenda here is, the end goal here is, we may have to draw this pattern. So let me just write down that pattern here. As you can see, let's write the pattern for these 3 things, these 2 things, okay? So you all know these are the value of I equal to 0 here. And the last value is always I equal to n minus 1. The first value is j equal to 0 here. And the last value is n minus 1. And of course, if the last value is n minus 1, exactly the middle value will be n minus 1 by 2. Half of that. And if the last value is n minus 1, then the middle value, exactly at middle, we have n minus 1 by 2. By 2 of the last value. If the last value is 10, then 10 by 2 is 5, right? 10 by 2 is 5. So of course it is the middle. I hope that fundamentals you know. So I know one starts everywhere. I'll be putting the condition is, if in case I value is equal to star. Let me just change the pen here. I value is equal to star. I need star. That means I value when it is equal to 0. I need star. Great. Apart from that, do we need stars when the I value is n minus 1 by 2 or n minus 1? No, that's all. Great. Whenever j value is equal to n minus 1. N minus 1, if you stop, it will print last. Entire column will be printed. I don't want that. N minus 1 by 2. N minus 1 by 2 means exactly at the middle. When j values at this point, I need stars. When I value 0, I need stars. Rest of all the places, I need spaces. We may have to put within the if block for this, right? Now coming to this, you can see these all the I values. I value 0, exactly at mid. I values n minus 1 by 2. The last is n minus 1. Here 0, n minus 1 by 2. The last is n minus 1. Great. So whenever j value is equal to 0, I need star. When these all the j values, okay? When j value is 0, I need star. Great. Whenever j value is equal to n minus 1, that means the last value is always n minus 1, I need star. Great. Or whenever I value 0, I don't want. I value is n minus 1, I don't want. Whenever I value is at the middle, these rows, I value is equal to n minus 1 by 2. N minus 1 is last. By 2 means exactly at the middle. Whenever I value is equal to n minus 1 by 2, I need stars. Rest of all the places, we may have to print the spaces. So let's go and write the same logic in the IDE here. So of course, this particular condition I would like to comment down. I'll go here. First, let's write the logic for the t. So whenever I value 0, I need stars. And whenever j value is equal to n minus 1 by 2 at the half, n minus 1 is the last value, half of that, if the last value is 10, half of that is 5. At the middle, I need stars. Fine. So if I have to just run this, you can notice we are getting the pattern as per the need, whatever we were expecting. Fine. This is the most easiest one if you could able to get it. Now, of course, for the h also, it is very, very similar. So I would like to say here, whenever j value is 0, I need star. Or whenever j equal to n minus 1, the last value, I need star. If you write only this much, then of course you'll be getting these 2 things. And whenever I value is half, I need star. So what I'm going to write here, I will say here, or whenever I is equal to n minus 1 by 2, that means half of, if n minus 1 is last value, half of that is the middle value. These all rows are considered as the I values, which we have already discussed. So if I have to just run this, you can see we could able to get this pattern. Fine. So before I even go for the any complex pattern, I would like to show how do we write these patterns one beside the other. We can write it by writing a big expression inside the if only, by writing i's, j's all the logics together, that will be complex, but we can write one beside the other. How do we write? Let's try to understand that here. Let me create a new program first of all. You all know this particular logic which you can see on your screen will print h. If I just have to run this, please see here, we are getting the h. Okay, there is some error exists. So let me just rectify that. Of course, we may have this extra one. Okay, I think we may have to close the method. We may have to close the class. Done. The problem is solved. Let me just run this. If I have to run this, you can see we are getting this. I want something beside that, right? So what I'm going to do is, before system.out.println, before that, same thing, same j loop, I will write once again. I will write this once again. It is in the same I loop. This is the closure of I loop. In the same I loop, before system.out.println, I am writing this. Maybe let me write for one more. I will go here and write for one more. That means 3 alphabets we can print now. In between, if you want space, I will say, like the way you can see here. See here, maybe I want 2 spaces, so I'll give 2. It should be print between one j loop to another j loop, whatever system.out.print I'm writing, it should be print, not ln. How much ever space you want, you can give here. Fine. See here, at the end we have system.out.println. Within same I loop, before system.out.println, I have written 3 j loops. This will print the value of h, and let's go here and print the value for the t. Maybe t means I equal to 0, or I will say j equal to n minus 1 by 2. When the j value is at the middle, this will print t. And if I have to maybe print here, let's print I value here. I means whenever I value is equal to 0, or I value is equal to n minus 1, that's great, or j equal to n minus 1 by 2. When the j value is at the middle, I value first, last, and j value is at the middle. Fine. So let me just run this application. If I just have to run this program, you can see we are getting the things in the same line with the required space also. H, T, I. In the same row, if you want to print the multiple patterns, one beside the other. How to write, I hope you have seen. You can rewatch the video. This is recorded video. That particular part, if you have missed, you can just go to that part and rewatch it. So I hope you were able to understand the fundamentals of patterns here. Fine. So let's draw a little bit more complex in terms of alphabets only before we get into the complex pattern programming. How to draw the triangle, rhombus, all those things, right angle, triangle. In fact, you will be in a position to draw someone's face. All of that, we will see to it. Let's go ahead here. Maybe I want to draw D here. Fine. So I will say here, this is my pattern, of course. As you can see, it is looking like a D. So you all know that these values are I values. So I value here is 0. And I value here, the last value is always n minus 1. So of course, by default, the middle value will go for n minus 1 by 2. Same goes here. J value here always 0. The last value is this. At here, the j value is n minus 1. At the middle, it is n minus 1 by 2. This you already know. Now, if I say whenever I value is equal to 0, it will print star from here till the last. But I want till 4. When j value is n minus 1, here I know one star. I know one star here. If you write star, it will be like the first pattern which we have developed. I want it to go here and it should be like this. So here I know one star. Fine. These are the j values. So when I equal to 0, I need star. But at that time, I'm putting and make sure j value is less than n minus 1. All these are j values, right? When I equal to 0, I need star. That time, make sure this j values, whatever you have, it should be less than n minus 1. Less than n minus 1 means wherever n minus 1 is there, that particular place star will not be printed. Less than that, before n minus 1. So this place star will not be there. Before that, star will be printed. Fine. Or this is done. Whenever I equal to n minus 1, if I say, stars will be printed from starting till the last. Here also star will be printed, but I don't want here. I want to stop it here, right? So I will put and I value is, or j value, these are j values. These are j values, right? So j value is less than n minus 1. That means this is j is n minus 1 here. it should be less than this, before this. That means still here only. It will print this. And of course, here there is no problem. So I'll say here, whenever j equal to 0, I know it's star from starting to last. No problem here. Now, how about the remaining stars? Consider these are the I values. These are the rows. These are the, columns, j values. These are the I values. Fine. This is fine. No problem. I'll say or. Now, whenever j equal to n minus 1, if I say j equal to n minus 1, you will be getting the stars from starting till the last. If you just say n minus 1, j value, this is n minus 1, right? It will print starting full row. I know one stars here, right? So I'll be putting the condition and I value, make sure that time is greater than 0. Because this is I is 0, right? I is 1 here. I is 0 here, 1 here, 2 here. Greater than 0. That means after 0. When j equal to n minus 1, this line I need star, but I didn't even, I know what everywhere. That time make sure when j value is n minus 1, I need star, but make sure I value is greater than 0. After this, after 0, and I value is less than n minus 1. This last value of I is n minus 1. It should be less than this. So when j value is n minus 1, this row I need star, but during that time I value should be greater than 0. That means after 0, I value is before n minus 1, less than n minus 1. So that line I want stars only here. So when j is n minus 1, I value should be greater than 0. I value should be less than n minus 1. Only these places I need star. So only I am putting and here. Making sense? One more example I will take here so that you can understand better. So let me just write this logic. Same logic I would like to draw here. So if I have to, write here, let me go back to the previous example. And of course, I may have to just change this part. So let me just comment this part and let me write the same logic which we have already discussed. Let me write that logic here. As you can see, I have developed the logic here. So whenever I is 0, that time make sure the j value is less than the last value. Whenever I is n minus 1, the last row, make sure that the j value is less than the last value. Of course, it is not n minus 1 by 2. It is just n minus 1. It should be less than n minus 1. Fine. So whenever j value is 0, that line full I need star. There is no problem. Whenever j value is n minus 1, that time also I value should be greater than 0. When j value is the last n minus 1, I value should be greater than 0 and I value should be less than the last value. If I just run this program, you can see as per the expectation, we can get the result. On your console, you can see the result. We are getting this D. Fine. If you want, you can stop printing this, space. You will get just stars. It is looking like a D only. Fine. So let's write one more last alphabet logic here so that and or operator you can get comfortable before we get into the complex pattern programming. This is just the part 1 of it. So let me just draw one pattern for which we may have to achieve the logic here. Let me write down the pattern here. Now let's develop the logic for this. Like it is looking like a O, or you can say circular shape. I want to achieve this. Fine. So what I'm going to say here is whenever these all the I values, I equals to 0 here, I equals to n minus 1 here. These are the j values, j equal to 0 here, j equals to n minus 1 here. Great, keep this in mind. Whenever I equal to 0, I need star if I say and if I stop. Star will be printed from starting till the last. I know want here also, I know want here also. When I is 0, I want star but not everywhere. So I'll put and j value should be greater than 0. These are j values, right? It should be greater than 0. And j value should be less than n minus 1. J value should be less than this. These are j values. So when I equal to 0, I need star. That time make sure j value is greater than 0 and j value is less than n minus 1. Only in this place I want it. Fine. This is 1. Or if I say whenever j equal to 0, it will print star when j is 0 from starting till the last. So I know what everywhere. So again I'll put the condition and these are the I values, right? I will say here I value is greater than 0. When j is 0, I need it. But I value should be greater than 0 after 0. not 0, after 0. Here, all this I should be printed. And I value should be less than n minus 1. That means this should be less than n minus 1. This is the last value is n minus 1. Before this, when j is 0, I value should be more than 0 and I value should be less than n minus 1 before this. So all this I want star. Great. Same goes the other two logics. So I'll say here, whenever j value is equal to n minus 1, this part is also same. When j value is n minus 1, I value should be greater than 0. I value should be less than n minus 1. Before this, after 0. So again, I would be writing the same logic. I value should be greater than 0 and I value should be less than n minus 1. Great. Or the last value, when I equal to n minus 1, if I say only this much, stars will be printed everywhere. That time, this j value should be greater than 0, less than n minus 1. Only here I want. That time, when I is n minus 1, make sure j value is greater than 0, after 0. And j value is less than n minus 1. If you write this, definitely you will be able to achieve that. So let's write the same pattern here. Let me just write down the logic for the same here. So whatever I have discussed, same thing we have written here. Fine. So let me just run this program and see if we are getting the desired result. You can see we are getting the desired results. Whatever we had planned, we could able to get that result here. Fine. So with practice, if you just focus more, you will be in a position to understand the approach which I am trying to say. Fine. We have to discuss more on this approach. This is start of this journey. Fine. I hope you could able to understand. If you could able to focus, anytime you can rewatch the entire video. Again, I say before getting into this video is you should be comfortable with the concept of operators, if else, and the loops which we have discussed. Kindly watch those videos. If you face any difficulties, first complete that videos one more time. And again, get back to this video and you can also watch it in 1.5x speed, 2x speed, but with complete focus, you will be able to understand what is the approach I am trying to say. This is about the part 1 of pattern programming. I hope you are also getting comfortable with the concept of loop, if else, and the operators also. Now, by keeping in mind that you have understood this by rewatching the videos, by practicing it, by listening to the focus, I'll be discussing the part 2 of pattern programming, where we'll try to discuss little bit advanced concept. Fine. And also to make sure, please do like the video, do comment, and also share with your peers and the colleagues. Thank you so much again for joining me in this video. Hello and welcome back. Now let's continue the journey of pattern programming. I would be keeping in mind that you have already watched the part 1 of pattern programming, and also you are very comfortable with the fundamentals concepts of Java, such as operators, loops, and conditionals. Fine. So now let's proceed here. I want to draw this pattern. Fine. So let me just complete this pattern here. You can see I have completed. It is looking like a maybe diagonal. Fine. So I would like to give a name to this pattern, maybe D1. You can say diagonal 1 or D1. I want to draw something like this. Fine. So let's drive how we can do for it. So I would like to consider this is for my D1. And let me see what is the value of I wherein I need star. What is the value of j when I need star. So whenever I value, all these are the I values, or these columns are the j values. Fine. So whenever I value is 0, j value is 0, I need star. When I value is 0, j value 0, I need star. Whenever I value is 1, this is 1, and j value is also 1. You can see here. Whenever this is the case, I need star. Whenever I value is 2, j value is 2, I need star. Similarly, whenever I value is 3, j value is 3, I need star. Fine. Similar to that, whenever all the values of I is equal to all the values of j, then I need to print star. That means here also you can see value of I is same as the value of j. I is also 10, j is also 10, I need to print star. That means all these 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 till 10 and all the values here, they are the values of I and j. So I would like to say whenever I value is equal to j value, I want to print this star. So if I just write this formula, definitely we will be in a position to get this. Let me open the IDE and try to execute this program here. I would like to open, and you can see here I would like to just write here, whenever I value is equal to j value, I need to print star. If not, I would like to print the spaces. Let me just run this program. You can see on your screen, we are able to get this diagonal, which you can see here. Fine. Currently the value of maybe, n is 5 here. Let me consider the value of n equals to 11. Fine. So that's fine. N minus 1 means 10. So till 0 to 10, it will loop. So let me just run this program and you can see the result. We are getting one diagonal. Fine. So now let's proceed further here. Very simple formulas. You need to understand this. And if you could able to understand, then definitely any complex pattern also you will be in a position to give logic. Fine. So this is about the D1. Now I want to draw stars here. Maybe I'll give the name as D2. Let me complete these stars here. As you can see on your screen, this naming, I'll give it as maybe D2. I have kept the name of this diagonal as D2, diagonal 2, whatever you want you can call. So I'll give it as D2. Name of that pattern also you can say. So let's check what is the value of I and what is the value of J when I need star. Fine, I have kept here the n value is 11 here because 0 to 10 I want to print. If you count from 0 till 10, it is 11 only. So the last value is always n minus 1. I hope you have already know that because we have discussed this in our previous video also, wherein exactly the middle value will be called as n minus 1 by 2 and the last value is always n minus 1. Fine. Now first star. When I want the first star, that time the value of I is 0. Because here, these are the value of I, right? It is 0. That time the value of J is 10. Great. Value of the second star when I want, the value of I that time is, you can see 1. And the value of J at that moment is 9. The third star when I want, the value of I is 2. And the value of J at the same time is 8. The value of I is 3 here. You can see here, the value of I is 3. At the same time, the value of J, this is J, right, is 7. So the value of I is 4, J is 6. Similarly, at the last, you can see the value of I is 10. And the same moment, the value of J is 0. Fine. Now, if you just try to add what is the constant value which we may get here. 0 plus 10 is equals to 10. 1 plus 9 is equals to 10. And 2 plus 8 is equal to 10. 3 plus 7 is equal to 10. 4 plus 6 is equal to 10. Similarly, 10 plus 0 is equal to 10. All these are the values of I and all these are the value of J. So whatever is there inside the I, if you add with whatever is there inside the J, it will lead to 10. The value of n is currently 11. And if you want to achieve 10, 11 minus 1 is 10. That means inside n, we have 11 minus 1 is 10. So if we able to write this formula, definitely we can get this D2. Whatever pattern we have here, which we have given the associated name D2, we will be able to get that result. So let me give this as for D2 and this is our D1. Fine. So let me just draw one line here so that there is a differentiating factor. So let's write the formula. Let me open the IDE here. If I open this, let it be there as it is. I would like to go here, or when I value plus J value, if I try to add, it should be equal to n minus 1. If it is I value and J value, if I try to add, it should be n minus 1. If that is the case, I need to print this star. So let me just run this program. If I have to run here, you can notice I'm able to get this. Fine. The diagonal 2 also we could able to achieve. Now, since we are printing alongside star one space also, here also there are 2 spaces. If you want, you can just avoid this space and maybe you can also avoid 1 space here. Then if I just have to run without any spaces, only star will be printed. Something like this. Fine. Now let's write, same pattern, maybe in one more way. So what I would like to do, I want to do that beside this. So inside the same I loop, I will copy this entire J loop. It is within the same I loop. Before system.out.println, in the part 1, we have already discussed this. I would like to write one more time J loop. this j loop one more time I have written within the same I loop before system.out.println. In between, I would like to give one space, system.out.print. It has to be system.out.print. No, not ln, it should be print. Okay. I would like to give maybe 1 or 2 spaces. That's fine. And here, this is fine. I would like to go with whenever I value is 0, I need star, or whenever j value is equal to 0, I need star, or by now you should be in a position to understand what I'm writing here. You have already understood the fundamentals of pattern programming. Fine. Where this is leading to, you should be able to get one picture in your mind. I will say whenever I value is the last value, n-1, and you can say j value is equal to n-1, which is or of course. And if I just have to run this, you can notice here, I'm getting this pattern. Such a beautiful pattern, which looks complex, but in reality, this is not the complex. Fine. The other alphabets now you can able to draw the K, X, Y, Z very easily, what we have seen in the previous video. Now let's proceed ahead and understand few more things here. I would like to open this. Let me open the board. And now the end goal is I want to achieve. Let's have few more formulas here, which are very, very crucial. I want to draw pattern. Maybe this is the pattern I want to achieve. Let me just draw this. Okay. And I would like to give the name of this line as maybe I would like to give it as P1. Whatever name you want, you can give. So I need star here. Okay. So let's create formula for this. I would like to give this as a P1. And let's check when I need star. What is the value of I? What is the value of j? I need star. Whenever you can see this star I want, right? What is the value of I this time? The value of I is 0. And what is the value of j? Value of j is 5. Great. What is the value of I here? Value of I is 1 here. And what is the value of j that time? It is 4. What is the value of I? It is 2. And in this star, what is the value of j? It is 3. Great. What is the value of I here? Here it is 3. Here it is 2. Here it is 4, here it is 1, and here it is 5, here it is 0. J value is 0 here, and I value is 5. So when you need star, whenever I value is 5, J value is 0, I need star. Whenever I value is 4, J value is 1, I need star. That is what I have written here. Can we get any common constant value here if you do something? Yes, we can get it. If you say 0 plus 5, it is leading to 5. 1 plus 4 is leading to 5. 2 plus 3 is leading to 5. And again 3 plus 2, again 5. 4 plus 1 is leading to 5. 5 plus 0 is also leading to 5. All these are the values of I. I'll keep I as it is. Plus all these values are the values of j. I'll keep j equal to 5. What is the current value of n? N is 11. N minus 1 is 10. So if I want 5, 10 by 2 is 5. And I'll say n minus 1. 11 minus 1 is 10, right? 10 by 2. 10 by 2 is 5. I think this will give us 5. Fine. So if I write this formula, definitely we can achieve the P1. Whatever we want here, we can easily achieve. So let's write the code for the same very quickly. I would like to go here and maybe here only I would like to add. I will say here I plus j whenever it is equal to n minus 1 by 2. If I try to add I plus j value and if that is equal to n minus 1 by 2, that moment I need to print star. That's the meaning of it. Fine. So if I have to just run this, you can see we can easily get the line which we wanted. See, this line is getting printed. Fine. If you want, you can print individual also. You can check it. That should not be a problem. So let me just take this from here. And I would like to print that as a separate pattern. So let me just do that here. As you can see, I have written one more j loop before the system.out.println within the same I loop. That means I want one beside the other. So the formula which we have got here is whenever I value, if I try to add with j value, if it is leading to n minus 1 by 2, I need to print star. Very easy it is. I want all of you to focus here and try to understand. And if there is any ambiguity, you can always re-watch the video. You can watch the part 1 of pattern programming also. Fine. So let me just run this program. If I have to just run it, you can see we can get this. Fine. Very easy it is. Now let's go here. I would like to open this boardwork again. And this time, maybe I want to achieve this pattern. Great. I want to achieve this. Let me just go here. This is fine. I want to achieve this. I want to print this. I would like to give this name as maybe P2. Now let's try to generate the formula for P2. Okay. So here I would like to write P2. And when I need star, what is the value of I and what is the value of J when you need star? So I want star here. So what is the value of I this time? I think this is I. All the rows are 0. This is 0. And what is the value of J? It is 5. What is the value of I that time? The value of I here, I want star, right? The value of I is, you can see 1 and J is 6. Value of I is 1, J is 6. What is the value of I here? The value of I here is, I guess, 2. Yep, it is 2. And what is the value of J here? Value of J here is 7. What is the value of I here? I value is 3. And what is the value of J? It is 8. I value is 4, 9. I value is 5. It is 10. If you do something, we'll be able to get any constant value. I guess the answer is S here. If you say 5 minus 0. 5 minus 0 is 5. 6 minus 1, if you just try to do it, it is again 5. 7 minus 2 is 5. 8 minus 3 is 5. 9 minus 4 is 5. 10 minus 5 is 5. That means whenever I try to take J value, subtract that with whatever value of I is there. These are the J values, right? And these are the I values. It should give us 5. 5 referring to n minus 1. 11 minus 1 is 10 by 2. Fine. So whenever J minus I if I do, and if it is leading to n minus 1 by 2, I need to print the star. That is a formula. If you could able to get these formulas, then it is done. We can draw any complex pattern. Fine. So let me just go to my IDE here. And I would like to just add this formula which we have achieved. I will say here, whenever J value, if I try to subtract that with I value, and if it is leading to n minus 1 by 2, if it is leading to this, whenever this is the situation, I need to print star. If I try to take J value, subtract that with I value, and if it is leading to this value, n minus 1 by 2, whatever is the value of n, if the n value is 11, 11 minus 1 is 10, 10 by 2 is 5. Fine. So if that is a situation, I need to print the stars. Rest of the places, I need to print the spaces. So if I have to just run this, you can notice we could able to get this P2 also. If I have to open this, you can see we could able to get this. Great. Fine. Now let's try to understand maybe for P3. I want P3 to be something like this. Okay. I want star here. Great. I want to print stars here. I want this to be act like a P3 for us. I will say here, this is our P3. Fine. So now what is the value of I and what is the value of J when we need star? The value of I here is 5. What is the value of J here? At this moment, the value of J is 0. You can see all them, these things are there. No, they are J values. What is the value of J here? It is 0. I is 5. What is the value of I here? I think the value of I is 6. And what is the value of J? It is 1. What is the value of I here? It is 7. And what is the value of J that time? 2. Value of I is 8. And value of J there is 3. What is the value of I? 9. It is 4. So if you try to subtract this, 5 minus 0 is 5. 6 minus 1 is 5. 7 minus 2 is 5. 8 minus 3 is 5. 9 minus 4 is 5. 10 minus 5 is 5. So whenever, if we have I value, all these are I values, right? If I try to subtract with whatever value we have, all these are J values. If it is leading to 5, 5 means right now n value is 11. 11 minus 1, which is 10 by 2. So whenever if I subtract I value minus j value, and if it is resulting in whatever I get here, one constant n minus 1 by 2, then I need to print the star. How we have got this, I hope you are able to understand. These are the values of i's and these are the values of j's. And if I just try to subtract, I'm leading to this. Whenever, if this is the situation, I need to print the stars. That's the meaning of it. Let me just go ahead here and write formula for this. I would like to go ahead and say, whenever I value, if I subtract with j value, and if it is leading to n minus 1 by 2, if it is leading to n minus 1 by 2, I need to print the star. You can see here, if I have to run the program, I could able to print the stars here. We are able to get the result for this. Fine. Now let's try to achieve for P4. Let's achieve this for the P4. P4, I think we can get 1 or 2 formulas based on whatever you get. You can write it. There is no problem in that. Fine. So it is P4. When I need star, what is the value of I that time when I need star, and what is the value of j when I need star? That's the meaning of it. So let me just write this. This is where I need to have 1 star. Fine. So that's fine. All right. So I need star here. I'll give this as a P4. So this moment I need star, right? So what is the value of I here? Value of I here is 5, and it is the last value, I guess. Value of j that time is 10. Value of I here is, I guess it is 6, and value of j here by this time, I guess it is 9. Here it is 7. Value of I that time is 7, and here it is 8. This is 8. Value of j. This is the value of j. And here it is 8. Here it is 7. Here it is 9. 6, and here it is 10, and value of j that time is 5. Any constant value we can draw here. If I try to add I plus j, what is the value which we may get it, and how we can align that to the value of n? Fine. So 5 plus 10 is 15, 6 plus 9 is 15, 7 plus 8 is 15, 8 plus 7 15, 9 plus 6 15, and 10 plus 5 is 15. Fine. So if I try to add I value with all these are j values, right? J value, it should result in 15. 15 means if I say n minus 1, n minus 1 means n value is 11, right? 11 minus 1 is 10 plus n minus 1, 10 by 2. That means this is leading to 10. And n minus 1, 10 by 2 is leading to 5. So 15 we can get it. So this is one of the formula. You can write one more formula, 3 into maybe n minus 1 by some formula, we will get it. So I think this is more easier. So whenever I value, if I try to add with j value, and if it is able to result in this value, then definitely I want to print the star. Rest of the places, I want to print the spaces. Very simple this is. I would like to go here and I would like to write this formula. I would like to say here, whenever I value, if I add with j value, if it is resulting in n minus 1, I'll say here plus n minus 1 by 2. I'll say here n minus 1 by 2. I need to print the stars. Fine. So if I have to just run this, you can notice we can able to do this. We are able to get this. Very beautiful pattern. Fine. Now to the same pattern, what I'm going to do here is, I would like to take it in the same row only. I want it. Same row. Before the system.out.println, it is in the same I loop. Multiple j loops I'm writing. Before system.out.println, whatever in between I'm printing, please observe it is print. I'm printing some spaces. To the same one, what I would like to do here is, whenever I value is equal to 0, I value is equal to 0, or, okay, let me just write here one or. I would like to say here, whenever j value is equal to 0, okay, fine, great, or whenever j value is equal to n minus 1, I'll say here, or whenever I value is equal to n minus 1, I need to print the star. Fine. So if I just have to run this program, you can see we could able to get this beautiful pattern. Fine. Making sense? Now you can draw any pattern also. Very easy this is. If you have understood the last video and this video, I don't think so any problem. Before that, if you have understood if else how it is working, and the fundamentals of loop, for loop, nesting of for loop, what is the use of this, operators, then this is not difficult if you watch with complete focus. Anytime you can rewatch the video at any given point of time. Now let's do one thing here. I want to fill the outer parts in this pattern. Whatever is there, I want to fill it. That means what I want to achieve right now is this. Let me just draw that pattern here. As you can see on your screen, we want to achieve this. Whatever this outer pattern is there, no, I want to fill with these stars. And in center, it should be empty. This is what I want to achieve. Fine. So all of you know that what is the formula for this P1? This is P2, this is P3, and this is P4. We already know that formula. By keeping that in mind, I would like to proceed further. Fine. So you can notice here, we have got the formula for P1, P2, P3, P4. If we say equal to, then we will get this. That means if I say I plus j equal to n minus 1 by 2, exactly this one line I will get. I will say I want this line. And whatever value before this is there, no, I want to fill that also. I want to fill that also. Fine, this is P1, right? So let me just write the code directly on the, IDE. What I'm going to do here is I will take this. Maybe let's have that in my, same row only. I will write one more J loop with system.out.print, space in between. And whatever we have already achieved, let me just erase that here. All right, that's fine. Great. So what is the formula for P1 we have achieved? I value plus j value is equal to n minus 1 by 2. Whenever this is the situation, I need to print the stars. If I just have to run this program, you can see we are getting this. Now whatever this part is there, no, I want to fill this up. So I'll say here, what equal to only that, no, I will say here less than or equal to. That means I need this also. Less than this. Before this, whatever is there, I want to print it. I have told I want this line equal to, less than or equal to. Equal to also need less than this, whatever we have, I want to print that. Less than this, whatever we have, I want to print it. So let me just open the ID here, and I do have written this. And if I just have to run this, you can notice I'm able to get this pattern. On your screen, let me just open the console. You can see we could able to get this. Great. Now let me go for the P2, and you all know the formula for P2, which we have got it. And I guess this is our P2. This line is our P2. I want this and all this to be filled. And what is the formula we have got? That P2 is j minus I is equal to n minus 1 by 2. If I have to go back to my ID, and this is I want it, I'll say or j value, if I subtract I value, if it is equal to n minus 1 by 2. If this is a situation, I need to print the stars. If I just have to print this, you can notice I'm getting this line. I want to fill the other part also. This entire part I want to fill. Fine. So I would like to say here, maybe j minus I is greater than or equal to. Let me just check here. Greater than or less than. Let's run this and see to it. Yes, it is greater than or equal to n minus 1 by 2. Equal to also greater than that. The other part, everything and equal to it. Fine. So we could able to get this pattern. Beautiful pattern. Fine. So now only this much if you want. I hope how you, we have got this. You could able to achieve this. So let me just go ahead here. And what is the formula for P3 we have got? I minus j is equal to n minus 1 by 2. N minus 1 by 2 is the formula for P3, right? If I just have to run this, you can notice we could able to get this. I want to fill whatever is there here. Everything has to be filled. Below this, I want to fill. That is the agenda, right? So I will say here, it is less than. I minus j is less than. Okay, less than or equal to. If I just have to go here, and if I just, oh my goodness, I guess I have to go with greater than, not the less than, because I minus it is not the plus. I minus. Fine. So because after I value is 5, it is below part, right? P3 it is. You can notice here, I have to go back here and let me just tell you why we are getting this part. Because this part I want to fill. And this part is, you can notice, that time I value is greater. Here I value 0. Here 5, 6, 7, 8. It is greater than this. Okay, this one I want to fill. So exactly opposite I have to do, because it is printing the reverse which we wanted. So I would like to go here and say greater than. And if I just have to run this, I'm pretty sure we will be able to get this. You can notice here, we could able to get this. Very close we are. And what is the formula for P4 which we have got? The P4 formula which we have got here is, I will say I plus j is equal to n minus 1 plus n minus 1 by 2. If this is the situation, I need to print the stars n minus 1. If it is equal to, of course, only that one line will be printed. You can see on your screen. So we are getting this. I want to fill this entire part. I want to fill this. I plus j. If I say greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to 15 or less than or equal to 15. So let me just see here. Greater than or less than or equal to. Let's try the greater than or equal to. I would like to go here and say greater than or equal to. Fine. I plus j value should be greater than also. That means below this or equal to this line. So if I just have to run this, it should work. And you can see we are able to do that. Very great. It looks great, right? See, it's not so difficult. You can draw any pattern. Whatever logic I am teaching here, this is very versatile logic. You need not to recall or remember any formula. You need not to remember the upper limit formula. On spot, dynamically, based on the pattern, you can able to develop the pattern. Looking wise, of course, it looks something great, but it is not so horrible as how it looks. If someone who is new to the world of programming, who don't know Java, who don't know one line of code, for them, if you just try to show these formulas, of course, it is array index out of bounds. For them, it will be out of the boundary. But it is very easy if you are watching this with complete focus from the scratch. Making sense? Now let's try to develop for the triangle. One last pattern and we are able to done. The triangle, not here. Maybe this we have already done it. I would like to go here. Maybe in the same row, the last pattern. I would like to within the same I loop, one more j loop before system.out.println. Whatever spacing I'm giving here, it is print, not the println. Great. Now, what is the formula for this? This is the P1, right? Okay, this is the P1, of course. And what is the formula for P2? Let me just write this here. The formula for P2 is which we have got, j minus I is equal to n minus 1 by 2. N minus 1 by 2. Okay. So if we just write this much, if I just run this, we can able to get this. We just have to fill this. And if you want only empty, then very simple it is. I'll say here or I value is equal to n minus 1 by 2. Of course, let me just wrap this up. N minus 1 by 2. Exactly at half. If I just have to run this, you can notice we could able to get this. If you want to fill this up, then you may have to play around. Last time I have told here less than. I wanted to fill this part. I have told less than. Now I wanted to fill the other part. This side. Okay. So I have to say here greater than. I have to just say here greater than. If I say greater than or equal to, this line and greater, everything will be printed. I want to stop at some point. I want it to stop at some point. If you want to stop at some point, I may have to use here AND operator. And I value should be less than or equal to n minus 1. N minus 1. That means half. Please don't print everywhere. I want to stop at the half. This part is there. No? This entire part, I want to stop at the half. And I would like to say here, j value should be equal to, or I'll say here less than or equal to n minus 1 by 2. Of course, not n minus 1. It is n minus 1 by 2 for the case of I also. I would like to just write here n minus 1 by 2. N minus 1 by 2. What I'm trying to do here is, kindly understand this. This greater than or equal to will print this one diagonal, and below this, whatever is there, everything will be printed till the end. I want that to stop at the middle. When j value is n minus 1 by 2, I want to stop. When j value at the half also, I value is n minus 1 by 2. Here also, I want it to stop. That is the reason I have written this. Same goes here also. Last time to print that. Okay, I think we will not be in need of this right now because it is not needed for whatever logic we are developing. Last time what we have told greater than, and now we have to say here less than. We don't want the outer side, we don't want the inner side. And now to this I will attach and make sure j value is greater than or equal to n minus 1 by 2. j value is greater than or equal to n minus 1 by 2. I will say here, and I value is less than or equal to n minus 1 by 2. What do you mean by that? Why this extra things? You may have to understand this. Let me open this board work just to explain what I have done there. Fine. So this is what we wanted to achieve here. So if I have to go here, this is what I wanted to achieve, right? Now, if I write only this much, earlier I have told this to fill. Now I'm filling this. While filling this, what I've done is, because this is n value is big, right? It will be printing here also, it will be printed, and the other side also fully will be printed. While printing greater I have told, and also I have stopped, and j value should be less than here n minus 1 by 2, right? And here I value is n minus 1 by 2. I value also have stopped here. Please stop this all printing here. Please stop this printing here. This moment also I have told, while printing this, make sure you stop the printing here. J value is greater than. From here, greater than, or here also have stopped. I value should be less than, because it will print here also. To avoid that printing only, I have stopped here. Fine. The and part which I am writing. If you could able to understand all the patterns, what I have written here, what I have told, you can easily understand that. So if I just have to run this program here, of course it is not n minus 2, it is n minus 1. And if just have to run this program, hopefully we will be able to get the pattern which we were desiring for. Fine. I hope now you could able to understand this. The end goal here is not just to print the patterns, which we could able to do easily, to get you, into the comfort of coding. I want you to start the, thinking. I want you to start developing the logics for which I have done this pattern programming. Now I hope you are used to the concept of loops, operators, if-else, conditionals, and also you could able to get into the zone of programming. Fine. So thank you so much for joining me for this long video. I hope you could able to enjoy. Anytime you can rewatch the entire pattern programming journey. If you are feeling something difficult, you can always rewatch the entire video with complete focus. I'm pretty sure you will appreciate this approach and you will be able to write any pattern which is there in front of you. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe the channel, also share with your peers and the colleagues. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. Thank you again.